My herbal friends, I am back and we're doing a video today on marshmallow root. And what you're looking at here is the cultivated marshmallow root that I actually grew last year. So this one here is very medicinal. And then we're going to go and I'm going to show you the wild mallow. But for right now, I'm going to have you look at the marshmallow root that I grew. And this is going to get way bigger than this. It can get pretty tall. Probably it can get around 4 feet, maybe 4 feet high, maybe even taller, just depends. So that's why I have sticks here to tie it up so it doesn't fall over. So the marshmallow root, the reason why I grow them is because they're really, really medicinal. And there's so much about the marshmallow root that I think everyone should have a couple plants in their garden every single year. Even if you don't dig it up, it's going to come back the following year. Even if you leave a couple of roots in there, it's still going to come back. So the marshmallow root is a perennial, annual. They say, you know, it flowers, it roots, and everything that's on it is edible. I've eaten the flowers, I've eaten the roots, I've eaten the leaves, I've made tea out of the leaves. So the flowers, the roots, the leaves, and seeds are all edible on both the wild and the cultivated mallow. So the medicinal parts are usually the roots. The roots are very mucilaginous, and I'm going to dig up one of my beautiful roots today to show you. I really wanted to let it grow till the fall, but I really want to show you because I'm excited. So the medicinal parts are the roots. It's like has that mucilaginous, it's very slimy, like a marshmallow, because they literally made marshmallows from this plant. And the substance contains an antioxidant, and the antioxidant that forms a coating like on the skin, and it helps to heal wounds. It helps with your digestion. You just think of it as like coating your stomach. It helps with the digestive tract and kidneys, liver, helps with stones, like if you get gallbladder stones or you get kidney stones, especially kidney stones. So they can help to remove these stones safely so that they don't do harm. And also, you can take these leaves and cut them up and put them in your salads. You can eat these leaves just the way they are. They're very soft, very soft. But you can eat these right from the plant itself. If you don't have time to go cook it or anything, you just grab a leaf, and helps with, you know, sore throats and all that good stuff. How you want to do the salads is just cut them. You can just put the whole leaves in there, or you can just chop it up and put it in your salads, or you can steam the leaves. You can boil them. You can use and you can boil the roots and then fry the roots, like I have done in the last videos that I've done for burdock. And you always want to use like warm water for the tea when you're making a tea of this. So you want to take the leaves and chop the leaves up and throw some in like some warm water and have a tea. We're going to go in the kitchen and we're going to do all of this, so you'll be able to see how to actually do it. So the reason why I use warm water is because too hot just destroys all the properties, and we don't want to do that. You can make tea out of the roots also. And out of the leaves you can get like a smooth drink, and when you drink the tea it like coats the throat, and it also coats the stomach, helps with inflammation. Also, this plant helps with the lungs and respiratory issues. So helps with pain and swelling, inflammation of the mucous membranes in the lungs, useful for dry cough. The lining of the stomach, like I just said, when you're drinking the tea. Oh, especially for ulcers, constipation. So for constipation, this really helps. It's similar to slippery elm, and slippery elm is just so over harvested, and you know, this, you can find this free. I mean, this grows wild. I'm going to show you the wild mallow in a moment here, but this is the one that I cultivated. And the reason why I cultivate it is because the roots are bigger and I know where it is and I don't have to go looking around for it. So they are used interchangeably. So it also helps prevent, it helps with heartburn, acid, and like the burning and the acid when you're having a meal. So it wouldn't hurt to have this like before your meal, and even if you wanted to have a cup of tea after your meal. So you want to harvest these leaves and dry them and have them for the winter time, for you never know when you need it. It also helps for topically, making that nice mucilaginous tea. It can relieve skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, chapped skin, burns. You can use that. You can put it in your salves. You can put it in your chapsticks. It helps soothe and heal, and like I said, it helps protect the skin. So it's similar to like okra. And if you've ever had okra and you have that sliminess with okra, it's in the okra family. It can be used as a thickening agent for soups and stews, and can be helpful in clearing out mucus in the chest. And we all know what happened recently with everybody getting sick, so you can literally use that as a cup of tea every day to help to keep your lungs from getting so raspy, and helps clear out that mucus that's stuck there. The roots are full of vitamins and minerals that nourish and repair also your hair. So because it's so soft, makes everything so soft. So you can soak the leaves in water and use it also. These big leaves, you can use the leaves as like an egg white. Imagine that. So it's a substitute for egg white, I should say. Just like chia seed and flaxseed, you can use as an egg white also. You can make a poultice for wounds, so you could chop it up and pour water over it to make it mucilaginous, and then put it right on the wounds. What else is it good for? Gosh, it's good for so much. It heals scars. It helps to heal scars. Marshmallows, like I said before, that's how they made marshmallow with it in the past, and back in the day. And also, you can add the leaves to bath water. I've not done that, but I should try it. You could put it, I wouldn't actually just throw them in the water, because you'll get pieces all over in your hair and everything. You could put it in a nice little bag, a mesh bag, if you have one, or whatever you have, and then tie it, and then throw the leaves in while your bath water is running, or hang it off of the bath and let the water run on it. Like I said, that'll help to heal like wounds. Heals your wounds. And don't forget about sitz baths. Women after they've had their babies. I've had to do sitz baths after I had my daughter, my first baby. And boy, I wish I'd known about this herb way back then, because I definitely would have used it. So there's a lot to marshmallow root, and I like growing it myself, because I know that having it around, when you never know when you're going to need it. So if it's a dried root, you could still use it the same way. So I'm going to walk over and I'm going to show you the wild malva. Sorry about any background noise, because I'm outside and it can get pretty noisy. But we're going to take a little walk over. This is my greenhouses. There's no plastic on my houses right now, because we're prepping to move in probably a couple of years. But so here, I know where there's a patch of wild malva, or wild mallow, I should say. Yes, I have a lot of greenhouses. So here we go, and I left this here purposely because I knew I was going to come out and do this video for you guys. Now there's no little seeds on them yet because it's in its early stage, but this is wild mallow. And all of these leaves are mucilaginous. And these come back every year. They're perennial. This one's called Malva sylvestris is the Latin name. It's said to be invasive, and it does grow everywhere. I try to find that things that are invasive are literally meant to be, because I feel that the vibration of the plants always find their way to you. And when they grow around you in abundance, pay attention. Pay attention to what you actually really need. I think everybody needs this, be honest with you, just because all the garbage GMO foods, the medications people are taking, just stress, everything. They don't drink enough water. We just don't really take care of ourselves like we used to. I'm not speaking for everyone. So, it is an annual. It's a winter annual, they call it, or biannual. But it will come back each year. It's also known as wood mallow. Different types of mallow names is called. You'll hear it being called cheeses, or dwarf mallow, or malva verticulata, musk mallow, cheeseweed. You collect the leaves before it flowers, but you see it's starting to flower, but you still can. You can eat the flowers too. I just ate a couple of them earlier. These are the flowers. They're very pretty. They're very tiny. You can collect them all year round. These leaves you can collect all year round and eat them. So they say they flower March till May, or before they flower from March to May. We're in May, so they're definitely getting ready to open. Like this one's opening up right now. They're very pretty. So you can store them, dry them. If this dries, it's really going to be nothing really left. So there is no seeds on these yet. Let me see if I can get you closer. These will turn into little seeds, and they'll look like little cheese wheels. And I do have some photos that I'm going to add into this video so everybody can see. No, there isn't any yet. It's too early for them to start seeding, but I do have a lot of pictures that I will show you them. But these you want to pick them and dry these leaves as well as the ones. That's why I say it's nice to cultivate your own. So this one's antiviral, both of them, antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, wound healing. Mallow root is for teething babies also. You can rub it on the baby's gums. So mallow is also gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. It's antifungal, anti-yeast, free radical scavenging, has probiotic benefits, and can add good bacteria to the gut. Doesn't surprise me, right? It's native to Europe, but grows all over the world, and it was used by the Romans and our ancestors, which doesn't surprise me either that it's used by our ancestors, because they were pretty smart. They had to figure a lot of stuff out, and it's gotten lost over the ways. These big people had just pushed it out. Pharmaceuticals pushed it out, made it illegal to talk about plants when we know that they do heal, they do treat, and they do cure. And those are words that we're not allowed to use because they're taboo. But the body is an amazing machine. It will do that all on its own. If you give it the right things that it needs, it'll definitely it'll take care of itself. So I don't have a whole lot more to talk about the mallow. I think I've gone over a lot of it. Again, you can chop the leaves, stir fry or put in salads. We're going to do that. We're going to simmer the leaves, and we're going to cook those up. And we're going to make a tea, and I'm going to show you a few other things to cook with. But the malva, this one here is high in vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, B5, and high in vitamin C. So that's good because we all need vitamin C. Our body doesn't make it. We have to put it in every day. Oxygen and calcium, and iron and potassium and magnesium. Those are so crucial. Those vitamins right there are. This plant itself is a vitamin all by itself. So. Also, I talked about the other one as well as this one. You'll hear me talk about it again. It helps with burns, hemorrhoids. It's a mild laxative. It's not going to give you diarrhea, but if you needed it, it would help with you moving the bowels. Inflamed bowels, also chronic colitis, ulcers. Oh, and H. pylori. Don't forget about H. pylori. GERD, and strengthens the liner of the esophagus. Yeah, it's got a lot of vitamins. The leaves and flowers are sweet like sweet pea flavor. It has a mucilaginous. Also, this one is the same, like okra texture. When chewed, it gets slimy texture that coats the throat. And the roots, the leaves, help the body detoxify and can be similar to slippery elm, but you can grow your own mallow or wild harvest the mallow and save the slippery elm, because slippery elm is it's overly over harvested. And so what happens when we over harvest things, eventually they're gone. And if we stop buying these slippery elm, things like slippery elm, and start using these, we wouldn't have a slippery elm eventually will be gone. It'll be endangered. And we have a lot of endangered plants because we're overusing them, and we're not putting them back, and we're not growing them. And like me, I'm cultivating my own and growing my own from seeds. You can buy seeds and grow your own, or you can just let them go to seed. So yeah, this whole plant, I don't want to rattle on too much, but this whole plant is edible. I have definitely made extracts out of the root. You can pull this right out of the ground, and the root is medicinal, and the leaves are medicinal, the flowers are medicinal, and the seeds are medicinal. We don't have any seeds yet, but I'll show you the seeds in videos. I'll show you the seeds in some pictures. When I load this up, I'll just attach some pictures so you can, when you see them and walk around and start doing like a little, doing it for the kids or yourself, you'll be able to identify it with looking back at the video. That's the leaf. The birds are singing to me. So that's it, folks. I hope I covered a lot of this part for you. This is a smaller leaf too. These leaves can get pretty big. Here's another one. They can get pretty big, and we're only in May, so they'll get a little bit bigger. This is the wild one. The leaves that get big are on the cultivated one that I do. Well, we can go back and take a look at that, and I can show you both. I'll put them together, the leaves together, and you can see what they actually look like. Birds are having a blast. All right, so these are all mallow marshmallow that I grew this whole row. So I'm gonna have a lot to harvest this year. But I'm gonna come right here where the beautiful sun is, and you see the leaves. And these are just brand new. We're only a couple months in, and they've grown really fast. But you see the leaves can be quite big on the cultivated. This has got another few months to grow. So this one's gonna get quite tall. Right now it's only like a couple feet tall. And these flowers are gonna start coming. The flowers are absolutely beautiful. I know I've taken a lot of pictures of the flowers last year, and they were so beautiful. So there you have it. I'm not gonna ramble on anymore. I'm just gonna let you look at the beautiful, beautiful plants that we have going on here. And we'll see you on the next video. Peace. So hello friends. I am getting ready we're going to harvest this marshmallow root. And I'm going to show you what the roots look like. So here we go. Hey my friends, I'm back, and I'm going to show you how to harvest the marshmallow roots. And this one here is a year old. I planted them, I started from seed last year and let them grow through the winter and harvest come spring. So typically you can leave the marshmallow root in until the fall and dig them up, but I really want to show you this process and bring in the kitchen and show you the roots. And right now I'm just going to show you how to pull this up, and I've already partially pulled it up out of the ground. You want to dig around it so you don't break all the roots, but this is just one root. It's huge. These are very big roots. So we're going to go in the kitchen and we're going to clean this up and we're going to show you how to process. Hey my friends, I'm back doing another video, and this one is on marshmallow root, and I'm going to show you all of the parts that are edible and what we are going to make today out of the cultivated marshmallow root. You can do the same with the wild marshmallow root as well. So here we go. Right now what I've got going on is I'm steaming the roots, and I'm steaming I'm going to show you right here. I'm steaming the roots, and I'm also steaming the stalks. So I left some stalks out to show you. And you're going to see in the first video the whole marshmallow root plant. That's just ginger and garlic. So here is some of the roots that I left that are washed. These I'm just going to chop up and dry and keep for medicine. Let's see if you can see that. Almost looks like a carrot. And then this is what's left of the root after me chopping everything off. This is the huge stalk. But then you have your little stalks that come off. You'll see that in the first video. And then I chopped up the leaves. We're going to stir fry the leaves with ginger and garlic. The ginger's these are both from my gardens, ginger and garlic, from last year. And from what I've learned, I haven't seen anybody really cook the stalks, except for me. So I like to do the really skinny ones, the tiny ones, and think of it as asparagus. Because you know asparagus you can get probably up to here, and then it gets tough and you got to break off the ends. Same with this. It'll get really woody like, and when you cook it, it can be very fibrous. It's like chewing gum. It just doesn't break down. So you want to do the tender tips, and as you start doing it, you'll see how it works. So I could probably get up to here without it being woody, and I'll show you. See how it starts to get, it'll start getting hollow. It'll have a hollowness about it. That right there is, when you steam it, it doesn't really cook very well. It just stays really hard. See where this is solid? Let me see if I can focus and get in here. It's solid in the middle, and that's the part you want to cook. And they do taste like asparagus. I kid you not. Absolutely like asparagus. And then we have the tea. I did not strain it. I just wanted you to see. And that was like, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 leaves. And it tastes really good. To me, actually, it's almost like a corn on the cob taste. But it is a nice tasting tea. And then just strain that out. Strain the greens out. I left it in so you could see it. Just pour warm water over it and let it sit. It makes a nice soothing tea for the throat, for the stomach. You have heartburn, grab some leaves, throw it in water, pour a little hot water. I don't recommend you using the sink water, but I'm saying if you turn your tap on and you get hot water, that's the kind of hot that you're looking for. So here we go. Let's cook up some food. And I don't have any carrots, so we're not putting any carrots in this today. Usually I throw some carrots in for color. And you'll notice that your basic, when you're cooking all your wild edibles, they all kind of look the same, but they're not. Trust me on that, they're not. And this is a cast iron pan, which I had already turned down once. So be mindful with your cast iron pans, will always hold their heat. I mean, like this is on 2, almost like 2.2, 2.2. So this is just cooked in coconut oil. You can cook it in whatever you want, whatever flavor makes you happy. I like to use ginger and garlic in my wild edibles, and honestly, you can find wild ginger and wild garlic. Well, you can get the leeks. That could be your tops. If you want a bulb, just take one bulb. Make sure there's a lot there so you're not actually taking everything from our beautiful forests, because eventually we're not going to have anything for wild foods. I'm just gonna put a little more oil in here. I like using coconut oil to cook with. So what I'm gonna do is throw the I like to steam everything. This way they're already partially cooked. So all of these steamed greens and the tops and the roots are steamed, and these tops will go right in. The flowers will go in last because they only take a few minutes. It's like having spinach. So we're gonna get this garlic and ginger rolling, just so the ginger and garlic can get a little bit of flavor in the oil. And then these guys, because they're already cooked, we're going to throw some of those in here. See these bigger ones here? They probably won't cook up as well, but the smaller roots definitely will cook up nice. We're going to leave that one in there. So here is your, almost looks like asparagus. These are the tips, like I just showed you here. That would be these tips here, and the very top tips are very tender. If you can get them at an early stage. So you know, you could do this in the fall if you plant or the spring, excuse me, if you plant a lot of these, which I started mine from seeds last year. This year I pulled off these nice tender tops. So I did take one of my plants and used it for this demonstration for this class. Marshmallow root, guys. You can do this with the wild also. Although the wild doesn't have these tips, they just keep growing, like fanning out and growing. And you'll see the pictures on those also. I did a whole video on that. These might be a little woody, these right here, because these, see how they're not really woody, they're just stringy. And they don't really, the bigger ones, see that? They just won't break down as much. You can chew them, they're tender. I don't want to cook them to death either. So the bigger ones are, they're not as good as the nice tender ones. Let's get a little water in here. Always use water when cooking because it gives us, see how it steams. You can put a lid on this, but I'm trying to demonstrate a video to you, so I don't want to be here all day cooking slowly. See, this is almost like a potato, and it cooks up almost like potato-ish, but it is mucilaginous. It coats the stomach, makes you actually feel pretty good. I forgot to tell you, you can smoke the leaves. I have not done that. I probably should try it. But it gives you kind of like a euphoric effect. You could look it up. The leaves are very smokable. You can dry them, of course, and then smoke them. Let's see where we're at now. Still cooking away. That water will make it more nice and tender. If any of these are still hard, they'll cook right up. So I'd turn my heat up a little bit. I'll just let this heat get rolling. So just remember, if you've never had these wild edibles, just take small tastes, because you really want to make sure that your body is going to be adaptable to digesting it. Well, obviously this is got mucilaginous in it. It's going to help digestion anyways. But for me, I've always learned that if I've never had something, I just want to try a little bit of it and then wait and just make sure there's no reactions. You should not have any reactions to this, but everybody's different and I can't speak for everyone, so I have to be careful what I say. So right now we are going to throw in the leaves and start cooking those up. We'll get some more heat going on here. And then the leaves will just cook right down. We'll have a nice little dish. So these guys here, so the rest of these, what I'll do is just, you know, I'll keep them and have them for another dish, for another time. You can store them in the fridge, maybe freeze them, take them out afterwards, have them later on. You can eat it cold, you can eat it hot. And also with this guy here, because I have this big root ball left, I'm going to chop it up, and then there's still a lot of dirt like stuck in between there. So I'm going to chop this all up, put it on a cookie sheet and let it dry, and then store it in a jar for my medicine. And I'm going to do the same with the leaves because I have a whole bunch of leaves here. The leaves that I harvested off of there. These leaves, I'm just going to lay them out and let them dry and have those for later also. So this whole plant is got a whole lot of medicinal properties to it. This is a wild edible, staple food, and medicinal. This is an amazing plant. You don't have to cultivate it. You don't have to grow it. Like I said, you can just find it out on your lawns. You'll see that in the first video where I talk about the wild mallow and the properties of the wild mallow. I go through the whole thing with you. See, it doesn't take very long. The greens really taste almost like, oh gosh, like a spinach. I think the whole thing, like in between, reminds me of, these remind me of okra. They're slimy-ish like okra, but they also taste like asparagus or artichokes. It's kind of like an artichoke type dish. And yes, you could cook this up, cool it off, and you can make a pesto with it too. Or you could just make a pesto with the raw leaves. It's going to be a little mucilaginous, but you can make your pestos. You can throw this in soups and stews to thicken it up. This is how you make marshmallow root. Not this, but I was going to make some marshmallows, but it's a little bit more work and a little more time to do the marshmallows. And I'm not really into eating all that sugar, but you can look up a lot of recipes. I particularly don't care for the sugar part of it, but and I don't use eggs. There are recipes you don't need to use. I don't know why you would need to use eggs when this is already kind of like an egg substitute. I suppose it just makes it, you know, fluffier. But if you were back in the early 1900s and you wanted to make it, you would definitely just use, there's no egg, they just used the mallow and sugar, or no, sorry, honey. They just used honey and marshmallow root. The marshmallow root made it slippery, you know, like a slippery, thick egg white. And then the rest was just honey. So they kind of cooked it down. And there's a lot of recipes. There's so many different recipes on how to make marshmallows that I'm not even going to begin to to go there. I'm out of water. I forgot to fill up my water before I started, but that's okay because we're done. So this is your stir fry. It's a great meal. You could put this on rice, quinoa. You can put it on anything you want, potatoes, you know, whatever you eat meat, you can have this with a meat dish. You can put tomatoes in with this, throw in a can of tomatoes, or chop up celery, carrots. I like to eat I'm teaching you the raw foods the way it should be taught, so you're not confused, and you want to actually be able to taste the herb and not all the other mixes that everybody's mixing with it. So there is your stir fry. And I think we're done. So now you get to see what this beautiful stir fry looks like when it's all done and cooked. And we'll go back over here. I hope you all enjoy this video. I waited a long time to do this video because I knew it was going to be a lot of fun. That is just your wild edible marshmallow root. The leaves, these are the stalks. These stalks here, leaves, stalks, and the root. You can eat the whole plant, folks. And then there's your drink. So you could have a drink of that. You don't even need to cook this. All you would have to really do is just make your drink if you had a heartburn or upset stomach. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to smoke some of the leaves, try the leaves also. I'm not quite sure how the effects are on it. I've never had it, so I'm not gonna give you any feedback on any of the smoking part of it. But leave a comment and let me know if this is something that you've ever tried or ever smoked, or if you have any other ideas on how to use the marshmallow root, and we'll go from there. And I'll answer any questions anybody has, and we'll see you on the next video. And don't forget, we are on Grassroot Warriors on rumble.com. You can always find me on vermontpureherbs.com and all of my social media, Facebook,